Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Rivals of Aether 2 and what I want for the coming patch. I think it's on the 3rd or 6th of December. It's early December, that's all that really matters. And we're going to be going over every single character and the changes that I would make to them. And let's just get right into it. And before we get into this video, I want to make it very clear that I'm not going to be overhauling really any characters in this game, except for like the super broken ones, which are going to be taking a couple pretty heavy nerfs. Most characters aren't going to be heavily moving up or down on the tier list. These are just slight adjustments that I think need to be taken. Starting off with the characters that I'm not going to be touching at all, and the first one is going to be Orcane. Now, I think Orcane is the most balanced character in the entire game. Not too good, not too bad, just in that perfect spot. And while they are definitely towards the lower half of the cast right now, in my opinion, I think just the natural progression of Orcane as people start figuring this character out as the meta evolves is just going to get to the point where Orcane just raises on the tier list on their own. So you could probably justify a couple slight buffs to Orcane right now to make them a little bit more viable, but I just don't think that those are necessary. I think they're going to come with time as the player base evolves with the character. This character is a little bit awkward. Things like back air, just figuring out how to consistently set up into that, using forward air as a movement tool and just a tool in neutral in general, getting the bubbles on the field in effective places. None of these things are intuitive to anyone that doesn't play Orcane. So as people start to play the character more, they start to figure him out. Orcane players are just going to get better, and because of that, the character is also going to get better. Could you buff Orcane and justify it? Yeah, I think so, but I just think it would be unnecessary in the long run. And the other character that I wouldn't change is Wrastor, and it's really quickly important to note that whenever I'm doing videos like this, I'm looking through the perspective of the top level, and I'm fairly certain when the Rivals of Aether devs are making their changes, they're also looking through the perspective of the top level, but you do have to consider all levels of the game, and I think Wrastor is really broken at the top level, like a top 3, maybe top 4 character, super good, but at the low level, I think he's like maybe the worst character in the game. His combos are not intuitive at all. He's like reversed in the fact that he has aerial smash tag, so it's really difficult for people to kill with him. He's just a very unintuitive character, and because of that, I think nerfing Wrastor wouldn't make sense at all at the low level, and I also think nerfing him doesn't make sense at the top level, even though I think he's one of the most broken characters in the game, in contention for the best character in the game. I think people haven't figured him out yet. I think the potential with Wrastor is best character in the game. I think in practice, he's not even close to that. So I want to give Wrastor players a little bit more time to like have fun with their absolutely broken bird before they start to figure out how good he actually is. And then the nerfs can come in. We got to give him a little bit of time to have fun. Moving on to characters that I'll make slight changes to. The first one is going to be Zetterburn. Now, I think he's in a pretty good spot right now, towards the higher end of the cast, but he's not overwhelmingly broken. There's clear counterplay against him, except Shine. And I want to get this out right now. I hate Shine as a mechanic in any video game. I'm just really not a fan of the move, except as an edge running tool. I think it's cool there, but everywhere else as a pressure option, I just think it's really stupid, and that is no exception in this game. And I think it makes Zetterburn's pressure just really lame. Like, he has really cool pressure too. You can have up air mix-ups with the sour spot or the sweet spot, back air, multi-hit timings with your neutral. You can go for a fast fall grab because he's a fast faller. You could also go for down B, a really strong option that's going to be mixing up your timing on the ground. But instead, you just have Zetterburn players doing like 6 or 3 shines and just wave dashing over and over again, and that's all their pressure has to be, and it's just so overwhelming, especially for players at the new level, people that are just getting into Rivals of Aether 2. I don't know how they're supposed to deal with the Zetterburn player shining on the shield and then down air and then shining and then shining. It's like unbelievable. So I would just add a couple frames, not too many, like 2 or 3. I don't know if that's maybe too many. I don't know the exact numbers of shine, but just so it's not so overwhelming on shield. You still want it to be a combo tool, something that you can use in the middle of your move, still a quick offstage punish that just sends people in a really awkward direction, but the pressure that it allows you on shield and just the overall basically over encumbrance it does of every other one of Zetterburn's moves, I think makes him really lame and not fun to watch. And I think by tuning it down a little bit, it'll let everything else shine. Next character I want to talk about is Forseburn, and he's definitely towards the lower end of the cast, and his main issue is going to be in securing that stock. He's got a couple really strong KO moves. He's got down strong, he's going to have down B, he's got back air, but it's finding those moves that's the difficult part for Forseburn. Down air as well, you can get some pretty good usage out of, and he's got a lot of ways to confirm into these moves, and that's where like the kind of tricky part of the character comes in. And I think over time, as the meta of Forseburn progresses, people will get better at securing the stock, and that'll become less and less of an issue, but I still think that it needs a slight push in the right direction to just make him up there with the other characters in this game. And what I would do is I would just give a buff to the AI of his clone, not to make it only more tricky and neutral, but just to make it better for combos, whether it's like so the clone just tracks the opponent better, so the explosion hits them more often, or the clone actually attacks the neutral. That might be a little bit too much. I know the super clone does, but making the normal clone do it, that might be a little bit much. But depending on how much the devs actually buff the clone, I think that Forseburn could shoot up in a tier list over time, because I still think the meta has to develop. And I'm pretty sure the devs made a post post or someone on Twitter said that they were planning on changing the AI for the clone. So if that's what they change, I think that is the change in the right direction, absolutely, for Forseburn. I think everything else is maybe a little bit unnecessary. I could definitely justify it, though, if they upgraded some of his kill power. I don't think that would be the end of the world, but I think if you just change the clone, he would be on the right track to become one of the better characters in this game over time. Also, really quickly, I would change the distance on his recovery so he goes one Forseburn further when he upbeats, just so he has a little bit of an easier time making it back to stage, because that's definitely a big problem that he faces right now. Next up is going to be Clairen, and she's in the exact same spot as Zetterburn, in my opinion, where there's only really one move that I have a problem with, except I'm going to be changing two moves. The first one is forward strong, really simple. I'm just going to make it kill like 15% later. I think it's just too forward strong right now. The second one, though, is going to be down air. I think down air is way too versatile, and you are just able to throw out this move willy-nilly. It chains into itself, which I hate. And also, almost every Clairen combo is going to end with you trying to down air someone onto the ground to get them into a tech chase to just keep the combo going. So Clairen combos never really end because of down air, and I just really hate that. So what I'm going to be doing with down air is I'm going to be adding a little bit of frame data to the startup of the move. Nothing crazy, like 2 or 3 frames, because I think it's still fine to just throw out as a neutral tool, but I'm going to be adding a lot of end light to it. Again, I don't have the exact numbers because I don't even know the exact frame data of the moves, but like 10, 12 frames, something like really significant. Well, you're still able to combo off of a stun down air. Like if I get stunned down air, then I could still get like a forward strong off of that or a neutral special off that, but I can't just like down air into down air into down air over and over and over again. And especially when I'm super high in the air and I go for a down air, it's going to be a lot harder for me to get my combo going with the optimal move. So I just want to make down air a lot less versatile, because I think while the rest of Clairen's kit is still extremely broken, and she's probably going to get to a point where the Clairen players are just like max spacing everything and you're just in a cutscene forever, down air just makes it really easy right now for basically everyone to do it, and I don't want that. Next up is going to be Loxodont, and I think Loxodont is the worst character in the game, but he's pretty clearly the worst character in the game, but I think he is still viable. You can still make him work. That's the beauty of Rivals of Aether 2, and the real issue that Loxodont has is not only that big body, but the fact that he's just living to the same weight as his opponents pretty consistently, and that's just because he struggles to kill. And I think by fixing his kill moves, you fix the big issue of Loxodont. The elephant should be able to kill, in my opinion. So I would add 10% to forward tilt. That's going to be killing earlier. I would make back air and forward air kill like 5% earlier. I know that doesn't seem super significant, but back air is already really strong, and you can like chain forward air off stage. So even 5% earlier will have a massive impact. I want forward strong, down strong, up strong, all to kill 10% earlier, 15% earlier when they have the magma on him. I just want to do a rehaul of Loxodont's kill power because he's a massive elephant with an axe. He should be stealing stocks consistently at like 60, 70%. And even with all of these changes, by making all of these kill moves pretty significantly stronger, I still think that Loxodont would maybe be the worst character in the game. So even though it seems like this is a significant overhaul to the character, he still has pretty much all of the same problems. It's just that now he's actually going to hit like he should. Next up is going to be Maple, and I think Maple is the best character in the game. If everyone played Rivals of Aether 2 correctly, they woke up tomorrow, played like an AI, Maple would win. But obviously, that's not how things actually happen, and in practice, I think Maple is a lot harder to find success with, but big but, she is still very easy to secure stocks with. She's one of the best secure stocks in the entire game because she has wrap, which allows you to just exist in the blast zone next to your opponent with either an up air or a neutral air, depending on which blast zone they are in. But even without wrap, just up air is insanely strong on its own. I am going to be gutting up air. That move is killing like 20% later. I know at lower percent that's going to make it a stronger combo tool, but I don't care. Up air should not be killing like that. I don't want up air to kill ever unless you have wrapped up to someone near the blast zone and then up air them. That is the only time that up air should be killing, because you don't need up air to kill there. You have up strong to kill there. That should be the commitment that you have to make. And if you miss that up strong, then you're putting yourself in a bad spot. But you just never have to do that as Maple, because you can just go for up airs at like 120, 130%. And then when they're at like 70, 90%, you want to rob them, then you can go for those upbeats. Editing for proc really quick, I was very dramatic with those numbers that I just gave you. You gotta add like another like 30% before those moves actually start consistently killing. But you get the point that I'm trying to convey. I don't mind up B being a super early kill option because it is extremely committal, but I have a problem with you just being able to throw out up air, your main combo tool, as a way to just kill people once they get to that higher percent. I think it should be only used to kill people after a wrap, and that's it. Similar things with these strong attacks as well. I'm just gonna make it so those kill like 15% later, because you just get like 2 strong attacks into themselves for not only a ton of damage, but they're just really strong as it stands right now. So that is the big issue that I have with Maple. I just think she kills way too early and way too easily without her wrap combos. I think she still kills way too early and way too easily with wrap combos as well, but at least those are difficult, and those are things that you have to set up into, and you can't just like forward strong into forward strong over and over again, and that's your combo for 30%, or like back throw it into a plant into forward strong for a kill confirm. Like, it's just stuff like that that makes me really think Maple is super overwhelming, and if you make it so in order for her to actually get a kill, she has to do something technical, I think you could fix a big issue that you will see coming with this character. Really quickly, I would also add frame data to the start of forward air, like 5 frames, and then side B and down B, like 4 frames to the start of that, just because she already has enough mobility. She doesn't need burst range that is like vertical and horizontal just immediately, and then I just don't want it to be as easy to combo forward air into itself like it is now. I think if you hit a double forward air off stage, you got it. The opponent's probably not going to make it back, and you earned that, but it's so easy to do that right now, so just make it a little bit. And we have 3 final characters, and these are the ones that I think need the biggest adjustments. And spoilers, they are all pretty significant nerfs. That is Fleet, Ranno, and Kragg. Now, I want to make this very clear. I don't think these are the 3 best characters in the game. I think Wrastor and I think Maple are better than multiple of these characters. But I think in terms of usage in tournaments, these are the ones that are shining, starting off with Fleet. Now, I think Fleet is a really interesting one because I think at the lower level, basically to like the highest level of play, Fleet is just like okay. But then when you hit the highest level of play, that like 0.01%, the cake assaults of the world, the character is just unbelievable because of that combination of side B, float, forward air, nair, back air, just all of them working in tandem together. Plus, I didn't even think about neutral special as well and the effect that you can have there to extend your combos. Like, you just have such unrelenting pressure as Fleet, so we gotta change that. First thing I'm gonna be changing is the float. It just lasts for way too long, in my opinion, and something that I like about the float that you don't see in the Peach float is going to be the fact that you actually descend as Fleet, and I think that's good, but it still lasts for way too long. So I'm going to be making it last like 20% less long as Fleet. You're still going to have your time to bully people off stage, to micromanage especially. That's not going to be affected at all, but it's going to be a lot harder to just like fully ladder people off of the stage so they just can't make it back at all and continue your edge guarding. You're going to actually have some thought there, and you can't just hang out for a million years. Next move I'm going to be talking about is forward air, and I think this is the worst designed move in the game. I'm sorry, Dan, you did not do your best with this one, just because forward air allows you to just put your opponents into an unwinnable, unrecoverable situation if the Fleet player is somewhat competent. In combination with side B dragging people off stage, float allowing you to linger, and forward air literally also dragging people off stage and then being able to combo into a nair afterwards while in the same float, by the way, after that. Then you could do a jump into a reverse hit of back air, jump into another forward air, another nair. Like, forward air just allows you to carry people off stage. It's so broken. So what I'm going to be doing to forward air is I'm just going to be changing the angle that it sends you at. Normally forward air, when you get sent out, let's say you're getting sent this way and then you get sent, oh, I get sent like this. Okay, that's how forward air follows. Now when you get sent out by forward air, you're getting hit up like this. The only thing you're going to be able to confirm off of forward air is like an up air at this point. I do not think that move should be just sending straight up forward, because if it does, it just makes Fleet's edge guarding way too strong. She can still send people off stage by chaining them over and over with nair, just hitting them multiple times, covering the space with her float. She can still use side B to actually get them there in the first place, but forward air just allows you to quite literally just slowly roll them up off stage into whatever position that you want and then put them into the blast zone. And I think by changing the hitbox of it, it's going to be a lot harder to capitalize off it, and it's still going to be a solid move, putting your opponents off stage, keeping them in the disadvantage, but it's not just going to be a one-way ticket to the blast zone like it is right now. My next change would be to side B, and this is a really simple one, and that would just be that if the arrow of side B doesn't hit, then the tornado doesn't come out. I think that's a very easy and a very necessary change to Fleet, because the tornado just controls so much free space for her. And yes, I'm aware that any hitbox will destroy it, but you are then forced to throw out a hitbox, which Fleet, the character with float, is then able to whiff punish. So it is just a very, very strong tool for controlling space. And if it does hit the opponent, then Fleet is able to combo into up air, forward air, back air, up strong, literally anything that she wants to either send them off stage or get them in that top blast zone. So yeah, I would change that to side B, just make it so it's only an active tornado when it hits the opponent. And the final big change that I would make to Fleet is just changing the size of the hitbox on up B. That thing is insanely massive, and the move is also really strong. Now, I'm okay with that move being strong. I think it's personally cool that you have an up B reversal like that, where if you hit it the right direction, they explode. I think you deserve that, but as it stands right now, a lot of the time people are just trying to edgeguard Fleet, and they're just getting clipped by the move and absolutely exploding, and I'm not a super big fan of that. I want it to be more deliberate when you're getting kills with up B, so I would make the hitbox on that pretty significantly smaller, and I don't know if these changes are enough to actually take Fleet out of the current top tier status that she holds, because the problem with Fleet is that she's just stealing stocks so early because she's just laddering people off stage and edge guarding them. So she's not actually like getting kill confirms or using kill moves like forward strong or up strong to steal these stocks. Well, she is obviously in some cases, but a majority of her stocks are just coming from early edge guards. And unless you're able to just prevent those early edge guards, Fleet is always going to be a broken character no matter how much you tune back the kill power of her moves. So these changes obviously aren't going to be happening one-to-one, so we don't know what the results of them would be, but I'm curious how y'all would go approaching Fleet, because I think she's the hardest one to nerf. And our final two characters, Ranno and Kragg, are the two that I think deserve the most of nerfing, just because not only are they very good, but they're also way more accessible than the other super broken characters in this game. So it's way easier to get pretty good at Ranno, or really good at Kragg, to be honest, than it is to get even decent with a character like Wrastor or Maple. And because of that, you are seeing so many people find success with them currently. And starting off with nerfing Ranno, really easy. First thing off the bat, forward strong and up strong, and down strong for that matter, are taking significant knockback nerfs. I'm saying up strong is killing like 10-15% later, down strong is killing 15% later, and forward strong is killing like 25% later. And I know you're like, oh my goodness, that it's not going to kill till like 100%. Okay, that move is so good. It is amazing frame data. He pulls back quickly, slams forward, and you can confirm into it off of down strong. Most importantly, that is a massive problem. You either need to take away down strong as a confirm into your smash attacks, which is also not a bad idea, or you could actually just change the power of those smash attacks, and that is what I'll be doing. Ranno can just throw those out and kill the heaviest characters in the game consistently at like 80-70%, and he just should not be able to do that. So heavy knockback nerfs to all the smash attacks, especially forward strong though. The next move that we have to nerf is Ranno forward air, and I know I said Fleet forward air is the worst assigned move in the game, that's because it is, but Ranno forward air is the one that needs the biggest nerf in my opinion. At low and mid percents, you are able to combo this move into itself with both the sweet spot hitbox in front of it and the tipper spiking hitbox as well. It's going to start actually spiking people off the ground at like 60%, so those are easy combos as well. And once you get to that kill percent, it is really easy to confirm into this move, and it hits like a truck. Not even the spiking hitbox is going to be killing people at like 100-110% at the ledge, and the spiking hitbox is going to be blast zoning people at like 70-80%. This move is just way too quick for how strong it is, so I'm going to be nerfing both the frame data and the knockback of this move, and I'm taking a pretty significant nerf to the knockback. It's going to be killing like 20-25% later. It's still going to be a solid kill tool, but now it's actually going to be a choice. Do I go for, you know, sour or sweet spot forward air, or do I go for a sweet spot back air? Because as it stands right now, the answer is just like, I'm going to forward air here, and if that first forward air didn't hit, I'll go for a second forward air, and if that second forward air didn't hit, I'll go for a third forward air, and you just have a wall of forward airs off stage, and if any of them hit, the opponent explodes. So I'm also nerfing the frame data. I think I already said that, but driving that point home, I'm going to be adding like 4 frames to the start of this move, and then like, I don't know, 2 frames to the end leg of this move. Basically, I just don't want you to be able to chain forward air into itself. It's still going to be a move that you're able to confirm into off of down tilt, off of needles when they're off stage, but you can't just spam it for a wall of fairs. The next 2 moves that I want to change are down tilt and up tilt, and I am just going to be making these moves stronger, like significantly stronger. I'm saying they kill like 30-35% earlier, and you may be thinking, well, proof block, those moves don't kill at all. I know that, you silly, but these are really good combo tools. These are really good confirm tools, but they are too good combo tools. They are too good confirm tools, and the windows where you're able to get a down tilt into an up strong or an up tilt into a forward air just last too long, in my opinion, and that is why I'm going to be making these moves stronger. So even at the lower percents, if it's easier to get a solid conversion off of a up tilt, especially off of a down tilt, it will be easier to convert off of that lower percents. At the higher percents, after you get past 100-120%, you're no longer going to be able to reliably down tilt into up strong or up tilt into forward air. You are still going to be able to confirm into these moves, especially if people aren't DIing on point, but the window on it is just going to be a lot tighter, and now Ranno isn't going to be able to just always have these moves at his disposal plus raw kill options. It's going to become a lot more raw kill options as he starts to get towards those deep red percent. Really quickly, I know that I am nerfing the kill power of up strong and then making the combo ability of down tilt worse, but ideally you would still be able to combo down tilt into up strong for like a 20-25% range, and then after that you'd have to start looking for some forward air. So just wanted to point that out so I don't hear anything about it in the comments. And the final change that I want to make for Ranno is going to be changing his run speed by making it 5% slower, just so he's slightly less overwhelming, because as it stands right now, Ranno is just such a quick and oppressive character, especially in combination with side B and B reverse with neutral special. It is just so difficult to actually land a hit on this guy or get away from this guy when he is pressuring you. So hopefully a slight nerf to his run speed will make it just a little bit easier to escape him in the neutral and also the disadvantage state. So basically my general nerfs for Ranno are going to be, it is way harder to kill with this character, because as it stands right now, kills just fall into his lap, and you are still going to be able to kill. Your strong attacks, while less strong, are still going to be very easy to confirm into. You are still going to have moves like back air, which is untouched, still a strong kill move if you find the sour or the sweet spot for it. And forward air, even though it's nerfed significantly, trust me, it's still going to be killing people pretty early. Also, really quickly, I just wanted to add that I think Ranno Needle is broken and could absolutely be justified for a nerf, but it's just not the approach that I wanted to take when I personally was nerfing him. So just wanted to point that out there. And our final character that we are going to be nerfing, as much as it hurts my heart to say, is Kragg. Now, I don't think Kragg is anywhere close to the best character in the game, but in practice, he is insanely broken, and there's a couple things that need changes. And the first one, and even as a Kragg player, I can't deny this, back air needs a significant change to its frame data. You gotta add like 6 frames to the startup of that move, a couple frames to the end leg of it as well. Let's say like 6 as well. Let's just call it an even 6 both sides, because that move is unbelievable. It chains into itself as well as every other move in Kragg's kit. It just comes out so quickly. His best get off me tool by far in the air, off stage as well. It's really good for just continuing to keep people off stage as an edge running tool. So by adding frame data to both the start and the end of it, it's just going to be a lot harder to use this move as a quick burst option, and it's going to be a lot harder to get some of the more insane combo routes with it. It is still going to be your main combo tool as Kragg, but it's just not going to be such an oppressive tool to just throw out in neutral. Next up is going to be down B, and specifically the aerial version of down B has nowhere near enough end leg. And I'm going to be adding like 20 frames of end leg to this thing, and that's the only change that I'm making. Basically, the big problem that I have with down B is the fact that it blasts on people at like 80%, but if it doesn't blast on you, Kragg is able to confirm his down B into a downer. So pretty much if you get hit by a down B off stage and the Kragg player is confident enough, you are guaranteed to die, and I just don't think that you should be able to follow up after down B, so I'm adding a ton of end leg on that move. And I'm not going to be touching the grounded version just because it's like the most parryable move in the game. It has very clear counterplay already set in, even though if you get hit by it, it is very strong. That's up to you to figure out. I'll give you a little bit of help here with the aerial version though, because it's already an obscenely strong spike. It doesn't need to combo into a second spike as well. Next up is going to be moves that I would make general kill power changes to, and for his strong attacks, I would change forward strong and down strong. I would make it so forward strong kills like 10% later, because it is really strong as it stands right now, but also it's a pretty slow move. It's very committal to throw, so it should be a strong attack. Down strong, on the other hand, comes out extremely fast. It's got nice disjoints on both sides of it. It is just a very broken tool that I think kills way too early. I would make that kill like 20% later, just so it's a lot more of a gotcha thing, guessing where you're going to end up instead of actually hard committing with something like a forward strong or up strong. The reward should be nowhere near as high just because it's way easier to hit. And I would also make a significant change to forward air. I would make the heavy hit of forward air, or I guess I should say the sweet spot of forward air, kill like 10% later. Again, it is your main kill aerial as Kragg. I think it should kill, but the sour spot I would make kill like 30% later. I am personally a big hater of sour spot killing in general. I mean, when I play Kragg, I'm a lover of it, but as a design choice, I think it's just a really lame thing that I have this lingering hitbox that just explodes you at like 150% as a majority of the cast. So I would make it so that sour spot, unless you're hitting it off stage, is basically never killing people. You have to hit the sweet spot of that forward air, because then you're actually rewarding people for choosing correctly instead of just having a lingering hitbox that the opponent jumped into. And the final nerf I'm going to be giving to Kragg is by adding some end lag to his cargo throw. Specifically to the cargo throw, I'm going to be adding like 5 or 6 frames, just so the window of confirming off the cargo throw is a lot harder. I still think you should be able to confirm off of cargo throw at like most percents. Up until like 70%, I think you should be able to confirm off of cargo throw, depending on which cargo throw you do. Of course, if you do the neutral throw of cargo throw, you should be able to confirm to like forward air, down B. If you do the up throw of cargo throw at lower percent specifically, I think you should still be able to confirm to up air, because I just think that's a sick mechanic. I think that's how you should be rewarded, by giving a player a cargo throw, but it's just really easy to do so right now. The window for it needs to be a lot smaller, in my opinion, and by adding some end lag towards the ends of cargo throw, I think you would fix the issue. The character could still steal stocks incredibly early, but only if he was frame tight and knew what he was doing. And with that, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This has been absolutely unreal as of late. Let me know what y'all would do with these characters and how you've been enjoying Rivals of Aether 2 so far. I know I've been having an absolute blast with this game. And if you haven't, well, hopefully the patch will fix that for you. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.